as McGee takes a breaking ball upstairs. And the count shows 1 ball, no strikes to Chris, but I believe it's actually 1-1. We'll get that changed on our board. McGee singled his first time, was caught stealing, and then reached on a fielder's choice and scored as part of the 2-run third inning. As he takes a strike, it's 1-2. McGee, utility man by trade, moves around positions quite a bit. Today playing second base. He's been the regular second baseman since the injury that we've talked about a number of times to Matt Whitney. Just a sophomore.
And with the increased playing time, bat coming around a little bit, he's had hits in 7 of his last 8 games, hitting close to 400 during that stretch.
Built kind of like the hour hand on your watch.
I like that.
Thin young man as he takes down the dirt. And the count evens 2-2. If McGee can reach, Connor Clark would be next. And that's not a man that Romero wants to face here in the 4th inning.
No, not with 2 guys on base, to be sure.
As this one is grounded foul. Pretty good cut by young Chris McGee. During this 7-game winning streak that Camarillo is on, it's been a balance of very good pitching and excellent hitting to go with it. They've got a 15-run output during the streak, and they also have a 1-0 shutout mixed in. They're giving up just 2.57 runs per game during the last 7, and they're scoring 6.5. Generally, when you do that, you win, and that's been the case as this one's lifted in the air. Medium depth left field as Addison Tarr's got a beat on it. They'll now circle in to make the grab, and that retires the side. A walk mixed in, but for the most part a very quiet inning. Really the first good inning for Romero on the mound since back in the 1st. We head to the 5th from beautiful Camarillo, California. It's the Scorpions 3 and the Yellow Jackets nothing. 3-0 Scorpions as we head to the top half of the 5th inning. It'll be Baldovino, Mora, and Diaz against Brandon Aoki. Enjoy high school sports better with Time Warner Cable, Turbo Internet, HD TV, and home phone. That's Time Warner Cable. Jesse Baldovino getting ready to dig in as you see some of the fans here at beautiful Camarillo High. It's actually Adolfo Camarillo,
yes,
if we want to give him a full name.
Exactly right.
Cross streets. I saw Adolfo when I pulled in. I knew I was in the right place. I've been to Camarillo in quite some time. Generally pass through on my way up to Santa Barbara. As Baldovino fouls the first pitch away. Jesse struggling at the plate. He's batting 190 coming in. Fly out his first time up today. Very good student in the classroom, GPA above 3.0 as he chops this one on the ground. Out to field it from behind the plate nicely as Caden White wheels around to get some momentum, and he guns him out at first, 2 unassisted. Beautiful play by White. Correction, 2-3, of course, on that put out to retire Baldovino.
This is a very athletic play by the catcher, and he got out of there in a hurry and then has to make the 360 spin and throw a strike to first, and White played that one absolutely perfectly. Another quick out for Aoki. And you start to count outs at this point as we are 1 down in the 5th. Oxnard needs to get something going.
As Brian Mora tries to bunt and he missed. Nice call by our home plate ump today. It's a strike on Brian Mora. He'll come back with Blake Diaz waiting on deck. Brian Mora for the campaign entered at 231. Not a power hitter, does have 1 double, no triples, no homers as he swings and misses at a high fastball. Nice job by Aoki again, mixing things up.
Indeed.
Yeah, showing us the off-speed pitches. He's given the heaters, but when he throws the fastball, it's generally up around the letters or higher, and these aggressive hitters for Oxnard are not able to lay off.
I was thinking the exact same thing. He got Romero out in that critical situation in the 4th with 2 on and 2 out. I thought that Romero might have gone fishing for at least 1, maybe 2 fastballs slightly out of the zone, and you saw Mora do the same thing in this at-bat. That's just smart pitching.
As the 1-2 is lifted in the air on the infield, Chris McGee, the second baseman, makes the grab. And a very quick 2 outs for Brandon Aoki as we go back to the top of the order and Blake Diaz. Get a nice look there at Chris McGee.
And you can tell the wind now blowing a little bit more briskly in from right field, because I thought that ball had a chance to get out to the right fielder, but McKee went back and just a couple of steps backwards and made the play from second base. So I think it's going to be difficult for a left-hand hitter to pull one over that short porch, 309 down the line. Now I thought at one point we might see some balls exiting the ballpark, but it might be tough now with the late afternoon breeze.
Yeah, out onto the 101 freeway, which is only about, I'd say 10, 15 feet behind a retaining wall in right field. Look out, cars. That'd be quite a shock. You ever got a ball heading your way on the 101?
Holy cow.
70 or so miles an hour. As the fastball misses upstairs to Blake Diaz. 3 balls and no strikes. If Diaz reaches, Velasquez would be next. Oxnard trying to get something going with the bats. They've had no more than 2 base runners on at any one time in today's game. Go back to the 4th inning when they accomplished that feat as a changeup misses downstairs for ball 4. That's the first walk issued today by Aoki. And Velasquez with a chance now to get a 2-out RBI.
We had been told that Aoki pitches to contact, and he has been absolutely brilliant at doing just that, getting these guys to swing early in the counts. I think he only has 2 strikeouts on the contest. He's had short innings, so he probably still has a very live arm at this point as we are in the 5th.
It's, funny enough, I asked John Gonzalez when I was talking to him on the phone during the week trying to get a beat on his ball club what he teaches, as most high school coaches do. They teach at their schools, and he was saying chemistry and some other unbelievably difficult classes. And I said, funny enough, which of your players do you have that is able to perform well in chemistry? Because I was a terrible chemistry student. And he said, Aoki. Now I know why he's starting, as this one's crushed to left field. Going back is Varner, looking up. This ball is out of here. Michael Velasquez leaves the yard with a 2-run blast to left. And just like that, it's a 1-run game.
Oh, those 2-out bases on balls. Diaz draws a walk, and Velasquez, who had hit the ball hard both of his times up, lining out to third and then lining out to left field, elevated one this time as he gets it up and over. We'll get another look at it. He went down and put a charge into that one, kept his head down and just snapped those wrists, and Varner went back as far as he could, but couldn't make any play on it, and suddenly we got a ball game, Rob.
And now all the folks who live here in Camarillo that know the Velasquez family are saying, why in the world did you move to Oxnard and leave our team? As Velasquez hits his first home run of the year. The 2 runs batted in give him 15, and we'll get a meeting off the mound. John Gonzalez, the head coach, out to visit with his team. Got some action going in the bullpen, which is somewhat out of our view.
That'll be Nick Ritchie, number 22 for Camarillo. And yeah, how things can change with one swing of the bat. Mentioned that 2-out walk to Diaz. It certainly looked like Aoki was headed for another quick inning, but a walk, and then the only guy that has really hit the ball hard both times up is Velasquez. Now, Sanchez hit it really hard the last time up, so my guess is this is why they're having that conference.
Prior to that home run for Velasquez, he had been 0 for 8 against Camarillo pitching this year, so he'd really struggled against them. And the one thing that I had heard about Velasquez was that sometimes he plays too fast, that he has all the talent in the world, but he doesn't let the game come to him. It's a tough thing to describe what exactly that means, but I guess when you get comfortable at a level and the speed of pitches, the speed of the game as a whole, sometimes you slow down everything in your mind a little bit, and it just winds up making the game play out that much easier. But Velasquez proving to his head coach Al Tarazan that he certainly has the skill to hit a long ball in the clutch. And a 3-2 game in the 5th inning, as Sanchez digs in from the right side and takes a strike. Count 1-1. Al Tarazan has seen his fair share of very good players come through this Oxnard program. Spent 9 years at Channel Islands prior to coming over, and 2 years at Pasadena High. As a pitch misses high. Starting to get the feeling, Paul, that these hitters for Oxnard are timing out Aoki a little bit better, especially here in the fifth.
And Sanchez showing good patience as he laid off 2 high fastballs. Got
a hitter's count. The 2-1 smacked on the ground right through the wickets of Gomez and into left field. That'll most assuredly be E5 as Sanchez reaches, and Jeremy Alvarado now will get a chance maybe to drive in the tying run from first base, but that's a play where if you're Gomez, got to find a way to get the glove down.
With 2 down and a dangerous hitter, you do indeed. Aoki, I'm sure, felt at the crack of the bat that he was out of the inning, and it went right through the wickets at third base, and so now here's another dangerous hitter for the Yellow Jackets in Alvarado.
That's the 3rd error defensively today for Camarillo, and it opens the door wide up for Alvarado with 2 out. He's 0 for 2 today, and he takes a breaking ball right in there.
Boy, that's a good-looking pitch. He had been giving Sanchez a steady diet of fastballs.
Alvarado has 1 home run this year, which is good enough for 5th best in the league. There have not been very many, obviously, this year in the Pacific View League. Decent lead at first base for the catcher Sanchez, who's a good runner, as this one's fouled away to the right. And Alvarado down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes.
Nice job by Aoki to not let that, what should have been an inning-ending ground ball, bother him. He realizes that he may need to have to do this himself, and he gets ahead of a very dangerous hitter, 0-2.
Be interesting to see what he goes with here. He's been utilizing the breaking ball in the dirt a lot when he gets ahead. As the 0-2, and this time he tries to go up around letter high with the fastball.
I agree. Now maybe he's setting him up. I was thinking the exact same thing you were, but maybe he's setting him up for that by going up and in with the fastball. Now would be a good time to change the eye level here.
His catcher, Caden White, sets up inside as the 1-2 is a line drive base hit into left field. Heading to second base and stopping right there is Carlos Sanchez. So now back-to-back base runners reach thanks to an error and a line drive single. And Antonio Gaxiola, who singled his last time up, digging in with the tying run in scoring position.
Might have gotten too much of the plate here. No, actually, it was down around shin level, so just a good piece of hitting by Alvarado as Aoki tried to throw one out of the zone successfully, but Jeremy went down and got it. And here is the biggest chance of the afternoon for Oxnard, with 2 on and 2 down.
Gaxiola, 352 hitter, so he knows how to put it in play, and he hammers this one to right center field, racing over the center fielder. Catch him, he's got a beat on it, and he makes the play to retire the side. Fly out, 8. But the Scorpions finally give up some runs as Michael Velasquez hits a 2-run bomb to left field, his first home run of the year. And we've got ourselves a ball game heading to the bottom half of the 5th. It's the Scorpions of Camarillo 3 and the Yellow Jackets 2. Big 2-run home run in the top half of the 5th inning for the Yellow Jackets, and they trail Camarillo now in a 1-run game 3-2. This and other Time Warner Cable Game of the Week telecasts are available 24/7 on Time Warner Cable's Video on Demand. Just go to Channel 1 and select the TWC Sports tab, and then Local, then High School. It's all on Time Warner Cable's Video on Demand. It'll be Connor Clark, Blade Redmond, and Blake Doremus, the heart of the order, against left-hander Joseph Romero. That nice, cushy 3-run lead has all of a sudden disappeared, and now the pressure really comes into play.
Well, and you'd have to think a little bit of an adrenaline rush for Romero, who has pitched in some incredibly tough luck today. They haven't really hit the ball very hard when they've scored their runs, and now he's right back in the game.
Romero had a solid first inning, gave up just 1 hit. It was a single, and then back-to-back rough frames where he gave up the 3 runs combined, and then bounced back for a solid 4th with just a walk mixed in. Connor Clark is 1 for 2, and he smashes this one to dead center field. Jeremy Alvarado's got a beat on it, and he makes the grab. Fly out 8. Connor Clark hit it hard, but not quite hard enough as the wind continues to blow around and moves our paperwork. We're trying to figure out whether or not the breeze is actually blowing in from right field or if it's blowing out to left. It's just so tough to tell. It's swirling around like it is. As here's Blake Redmond taken outside. I'm sure Joseph Romero would love to face anybody but Camarillo the rest of the season when they head to the CIF postseason. The only struggles he's had all year against this Camarillo team as he delivers a strike to Blake Redmond. Blake at 302 for the year. He's also Camarillo's best pitcher. As a matter of fact, he threw a no-hitter this year. Did that against Pacifica. And he takes downstairs. I don't care what level you're playing at. Throwing a no-hitter is an amazing accomplishment.
Well, and his only loss on the year came in a 1-0 loss to Rio Mesa. He gave up one hit. And Coach told me that the run that beat him was an unearned run and didn't even involve that hit. But obviously he's having a marvelous season. But yeah, you mentioned Romero. Only one loss on the year. 9 wins. Anytime you can win 9 games in this short high school season is very impressive.
Yeah, you're pretty much winning every time out. Or at the very least, you're being involved in the decision every time out, which is also almost amazing into itself.
Exactly right. That means you're hanging around quite a long time in these contests, as his 57 innings pitched would indicate coming in.
Breeds a lot of confidence in your team as this ball's grounded back up the box and into center field. Pass to diving Jesse Baldovino. First hit of the game for Blake Redmond, but it's the 3rd time that he's been on. And with 1 out, Blake Doremus, the DH, is due up. I was talking to some of the kids and we'll get to that in just a moment. First, the replay on the single.
There you see Redmond gets a knee-high pitch and doesn't try to do too much with it. Takes it right back through the box for a clean single.
As I was saying about Doremus, who looks at a breaking ball high. I was asking some of the teammates when we first got here today, it's my first time to come to this yard, how often somebody actually has hit the 101 freeway with a home run, whether it be in a game or during batting practice, and all the kids to a man said Blake Doremus can do it. So I'm expecting something big right now, Paul. I don't know if he could actually do it in a game, but we'll get a chance to see. Got a hard enough thrower and Romero on the mound who can generate some pop for him maybe.
Does lead the team in extra base hits with 8.
As this ball's hit on the ground to second base, Baldovino's got to wait for the hop, shovels to second for 1, but the relay back to first is not in time. Ball just hit too slowly. So it'll be a fielder's choice, erasing Blake Redmond from the base pass. And now 2 away for Caden White.
But a very nice play by Jesse Baldovino. Runner flashed right in front of him at a critical moment, but he kept his concentration and made the little shovel over for the force play.
We've seen a handful of errors today, but I think for the most part the defenses have gotten better as the game has gone on. This one grounded toward the hole, ranging wide to his left is Baldovino, but he can't make the play. He was able to knock the ball down. Heading to second base is Doremus. That'll be an infield single for Caden White. Just hit it in the right spot. And a runner advances into scoring position with 2 men down for Raymond Gomez.
Take another look. You will see once again the runner had to avoid being hit by the batted ball, but Baldovino had to cover a lot of ground and trying to get himself in position to make a quick throw to first. Just couldn't quite come up with it. But it's so important after your team scores that you put a 0 up on the board, and that's what's facing Romero right here. After his team got him 2 back to get him right back in the contest, he really needs to get Gomez here.
As he misses outside, 1-0. All 9 batters in the Camarillo lineup have been on base at least once, and that includes Gomez, who reached on a fielder's choice in the second. Officially 0 for 2 on the day. As the pitch to him is hit on the ground sharply, but foul.
Yeah, you'd have to think, Rob, that he would love to get a hit here to make up for that error in the previous inning that would have could have made things a lot easier for Aoki. No damage after the error on the Sanchez 2-out grounder, but he put his teammate in a bit of a hot spot.
Certainly did. As Gomez swings and misses. Nice looking breaking ball there from Joseph Romero, who's been struggling with the breaking ball control today. And he's ahead in the count 1-2.
1-2.
Raymond Gomez is on his first year on the varsity team, played JV as a freshman, and thrust into a starting role on a very young team as he lines this one toward the middle. The ball dies a little bit, and that gives Baldovino a chance to field it on one knee. Goes to the bag at second in time to get the force out, and that retires the side. In your scorecard, that is fielder's choice, 4 unassisted. We head to the 6th. Paul will be back with the play-by-play. It's the Scorpions 3 and the Yellow Jackets 2.
Welcome back to Camarillo High School. We're taking a good look at the Oxnard dugout with a renewed hope after that 2-run home run by Velasquez in the 5th. Gotten them right back into the game. It's 3-2 Camarillo. Paul Westphal, Rob Brender, glad you could be with us. But Oxnard now with a chance. It was looking for 4 innings like they were going to have all kinds of struggles against Aoki, but hitting the ball much harder the last couple of innings and leading it off. Landeros laces one into right field for a base hit.
Well, that's a case of taking the pitch where it's thrown and hitting it right back that direction. Tried to go away with the fastball, Aoki, and Landeros did a nice job of reaching the bat head out, smacking it over the head of the second baseman, Chris McGee, into right field. We talked about Aoki spotting his pitches, and if you are a smart hitter and you learn from that, you watch him throughout the game, you learn how he's going to pitch you. And maybe in this case, Landeros said, I'm looking fastball away, and he gets it and lines it into right.
You have to wonder how much longer Coach Gonzalez will leave Aoki on the mound after 3 2/3 of no-hit innings. Oxnard has had 5 hits since then. Here's Romero. Oh, they got him. Oh my, they had the sacrifice in order. Unfortunately, Landeros caught a little bit too far off first base. They pick him off, and that is the tying run, and that is a tough one to take.
Oh boy, you just cannot let that happen. You're the tying run. It's late in the ball game. You're waiting to have the sacrifice down, and I know you're trying to get a jump off first base if you're Landeros, but you have to wait and make sure that ball's actually bunted. And in this case, he tried to lean a little bit, get a head start, and good job by Aoki to see that.
Indeed. Big out if you're a Scorpions fan, and here's Romero now having to do it himself. A ground out and a strikeout. He struck out with 2 on and 2 out in the 4th in his last time up. Pitch is away, and the count's even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Oh, you could just sort of feel the momentum on that Yellow Jacket side of the field after they had hit the ball so very hard the last 3 innings. And there you can see how that pitch was considerably in the dirt, but that's just a tough one because that leadoff single, you're feeling pretty good about things. Romero lifts a fly ball into medium right. Going back on it is Redmond, and he hauls it in, and now there's 2 quick outs here in the 6th.
Well, now we know what happens when you hit the ball in the air to right field. We've been wondering for quite a while. Just 309 down that line, and the ball definitely knocked down a little bit by the breeze. And by the way, Paul, there's traffic now going north on the 101. I'm seeing the tops of the trucks here is all stopped behind the outfield fence. A little worried for when we leave here.
First pitch is in the dirt for ball, 1 ball and no strikes to Baldovino. He has flown out to right field and then grounded out. He topped one at the plate that Caden White pounced on and spun around and threw him out 2-3 on the put out his other time up. And I was just thinking when after that leadoff single by Landeros and he really hit a sharp line drive, I just felt maybe that Oxnard was feeling good about themselves, and then the pickoff and the ensuing fly ball has quelled a little bit of the enthusiasm over in that Yellow Jacket dugout as they're down to their final 4 outs.
Credit Aoki. Such an outstanding job keeping his composure through the big inning where he gives up the home run and bouncing back with a chance to maybe get out of this 6th inning unscathed.
Real.
He's made some big 2-out pitches when he's needed to. They had 2 on and 2 out a couple of times. Ball 4 and the walk to Baldovino. And he keeps the inning alive here for Brian Moore.
It's the second walk issued today by Aoki. And the last man he walked, Blake Diaz, came around to score in front of the Mulaski home run. So walks will come back to bite you, even with 2 out.
This is the truth. Mora 0 for 2, flied out to left, quick throw over to first, but Baldovino not straying too far, and then Mora popped out to second. But in the fourth, with 2 on and 2 out, Aoki was able to strike out Romero, and then with 2 on and 2 out in the fifth, he was able to entice Gaxiola to hit a fly ball to medium center. That pitch is up high. As we mentioned at the outset, a win by Oxnard. They clinched the Pacific View League title outright, guaranteeing them a first-round home game, and now they're in Division II. After many years, this league was in Division I. In D2 this year. That pitch is in there for a strike. But if Camarillo were to win, they would get the #1 seed. It'd be a co-championship, but they would get the #1 seed by virtue of their success against Oxnard this year, and they would get the first-round home game. So a lot at stake here as we wind down the regular season in CIF Southern Section Baseball. More a little bit tardy on the fastball, and now he's behind in the count.
Those home games are so important. No matter what teams have done in the past out of individual leagues, knowing that you can play on the comfort of your own field, have your own fans in the stands, somebody else has to travel to you, and it just lends to wins generally in the postseason.
Well said, and in this southern section, you can travel some serious distances. Popped up foul first base side, but Clark's got the play, and the inning is over on the foul out to the first baseman. Oxnard is done in the 6th. No runs, 1 hit. There was an error. A man was picked off, so only 1 left. We'll go to the middle of the 6th. Camarillo up 3-2 on Time Warner Cable Sports. Welcome back to Camarillo High School as we go to the bottom half of inning number 6. I got to remind you, though, to stay tuned to Time Warner Cable's SoCal Channel 101 for more great upcoming high school sports coverage. For our complete Game of the Week schedule, go to SoCal101TV.com. And you can follow us online through Twitter and Facebook using the handle SoCal101TV. Oh, high throw, and it's going to be Varner advancing to second base on the error on the third baseman. And Camarillo benefiting from a misplay, perhaps an insurance run, now at second base and nobody out, Rob.
Well, it's not the easiest play defensively for Landeros, but he did an outstanding job of fielding the ground ball in the short hop. It's just a little lackadaisical on the throw, and that was where it all fell apart as he airmailed it to first base. It's not the first time we've seen a defender overthrow the first baseman today. Wonder if there's something in the air to a degree.
Here's Charlie Ketchum. You'd have to think the sacrifice will be in order here. And the pitch is up high for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Oh, but we've talked about it in our games, Rob, where a 2-run lead going into that last inning changes the dynamics, the complexity of the inning dramatically over a 1-run lead.
Yeah, that's a tremendous insurance run that's standing out there at second base in Varner. Varner has pretty good speed out there. If Ketchum can get him to third, pretty good chance they could find a way to get him in.
Ketchum takes high again, and the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes, top of the order, and Andy Morales coming up regardless of what Ketchum does. But of course, if he can get that runner over to third with only 1 out, all Morales needs is a fly ball to get the speedy Varner in.
It was the 3rd error of the game, by the way, on the defense for Oxnard. Now, I'm sure if you asked these coaches beforehand, they would have liked to have seen a little bit of a cleaner game today, but the errors are mounting. I believe that's 3 on each team.
Ketchum takes up high and inside again, and I know that that's what you'd like to do as a pitcher, is make that sacrifice attempt more difficult, but now he's sort of painted himself into a corner, has Romero 3-0 to Ketchum.
Almost looks like war paint on his face now with the eye black running down the cheeks.
Oh, okay, they're going to just have the intentional walk with the 3-0 count. You don't have to bother to throw the pitch in prep baseball, so coach Terrazon came out of the dugout and said, just put him on. So Ketchum gets the intentional pass. So it'll be first and second now, and nobody out for Morales. And under normal circumstances, Rob, you'd think the bunt would be in order here too, but I'm not sure I'm taking the bat out of this guy's hands.